Merhaba, I'm Dr. Şevval Karada, and you're listening to Fearless Leaders in HealthTech. We are here to go beyond the fear barrier and explore the future of healthcare together, because the only way to be truly fearless is to lead with a heart full of love and passion. We'll explore these perspectives through my eyes as a physician and entrepreneur, and through the stories of trailblazing founders, investors, and innovators. Unfiltered, unafraid, and unstoppable. Let's dive in. Merhaba, hoş geldiniz. This is our very first step. This is episode 0, an introduction to the mission behind this podcast. You are here at Fearless Leaders in HealthTech, and I'm your host, Dr. Şevval Karada. I'm an entrepreneur and medical doctor, and I'm absolutely in love with being an entrepreneur. And we will discuss most of this podcast about entrepreneurship. I'm a medical doctor who built her life from the ground up, graduating from Koç University School of Medicine with a full scholarship, and then I decided to become an entrepreneur. I decided to not to work as a clinician without any backup plan. And today I'm the co-founder of Viva Smart Care, where we innovate the elderly tech, and founding president of Medipreneurs Association, which is more than just an association. We built Medipreneurs as a thriving ecosystem where I met hundreds of health tech entrepreneurs. Through this community, we empowered countless healthcare professionals to step into entrepreneurship, and we witnessed new startups being born and raised within our network. I also serve as a global advisory board member at International Supply Chain Educational Alliance in medical procurement agency part. So I have a very long journey. Even though I'm young, my journey is not that young. And there was many parts where I rebuilt myself. I met and observed countless innovators, leaders, and dreamers in the worlds of medicine and technology. And I've noticed one common theme, which is the fear barrier. So you realize that the name of the podcast is Fearless Leaders in Health Tech. It's not brave leaders, rather it's a fearless leaders. Because my purpose in life as an entrepreneur, doctor, and a human being, and as a woman, is to eradicate this feeling of fear. I didn't mention fear as an enemy because it's not an enemy. To me, fear, it's like physical pain. Think about your health. You had a terrible headache and you apply to the doctor, and doctor says that, doctors examine you, made some tests, and then they tell you that, oh, you have migraine. Or worse, they tell you that, oh, you have a brain tumor. Or you visit doctor with the complaint of stomachache. You said, I had this terrible stomachache. It's killing me. And then they examine you and they told you, oh, you have appendicitis. Or you have bowel problems. I don't know. And sometimes you might require to have urgent surgery. If you didn't feel this pain, if you didn't feel this physical pain, you wouldn't go and apply to the doctor, right? So pain was a signal. It was a signal tells that at that part of your body, there's something going on and you need to check, you need to heal that part, right? You have a stomachache, you have a problem with maybe your bowels, maybe your stomach, maybe about how you eat, your lifestyle. It's a signal that made you go to the doctor. And some of the very worst diseases are not the one causing pain, but the ones that doesn't give symptoms. Because without a symptom, without a pain, you're not aware that there is something going wrong within you. So you don't seek the treatment. What happens is that when you go to the doctor, it's already too late. They tell you, oh, this is incurable. For instance, some types of stomach cancers, unfortunately, doesn't give symptoms at the beginning. So when the patients realize that they have huge weight loss or they have pain and they become suspicious that something going wrong, and they visit the doctor, and doctors unfortunately may told you that, oh, this is too late because now the tumor spread it everywhere, it's incurable. So actually pain is a lifesaver. So pain, physical pain, is not the enemy, but a signal that tells you where you should focus on your body. And this is how I see fear. I think fear is some sort of emotional counterpart of pain. Like how physical pain tells you there's something going wrong in your body. So fear tells you there's something going wrong, let's say at your emotional health or your well being. Actually, I want to use the word soul. So I think fear told you that there's some parts of your soul that needs attention, that needs healing. Okay? I see fear as a signal. Let's say that you're about to make very big decisions and you're afraid people's reaction, but you're afraid it too much that you're delaying the decision. So what does this tell you? You have a fear, right? You have a fear that you will afraid of the reaction that you would get after that decision, which means you might give too much importance to other people's opinion. You might have to work on your external validation needs. You know, all of us need, of course, validation, but we need to have it at some balance. So it shouldn't delay you or prevent you to do the things you want to do. So it's a signal, it's signaling you, right? When you're about to start a business or growing a business or you're building a new technology, there will be several times that your plans don't work out. And if you feel like, and you can come to a point where you feel like, am I a failure or am I gonna fail? This is also a fear. And this fear tells you, what does it tell you? It tells you that, oh, you don't have enough confidence in you, to yourself, or enough confidence to universe that your efforts will not be rewarded. It's a signal. That's why the name of this podcast is Fearless. At the same time, I also know that being fearless, which is like feeling no fear at all, feeling safe and confidence at all times, even though there is a chaos going outside of you in your life, it's impossible to reach that state without facing the fear, right? So what happens is that you make a decision or you implement a change in your life that you're afraid of. You implement it even though you're afraid. So that's the thing. You do it anyway, even though you're afraid. And once you do it, you realize that, oh, it's not the end of the world. This is exactly how it happened in my life. There were so many moments that I faced my fears, which is, I think, one of the greatest challenges and gifts of being an entrepreneur is that you meet so many people, you make so many decisions, and since you're the one who decided to start that business, you don't have much options to blame others. So you know that you are the responsible. So there's like no getting away of that feeling of responsibility. So through entrepreneurship, I faced so many of my fears, and at the beginning, I did it even though I was afraid, and some of them I won. Some of them, things continued the way I hoped them to be, but in some of them, I lost. So I was very afraid from a specific result, and I get that result that I was afraid of. You know, but what happened? I could handle it. I could handle it. So I realized that even though I lost, even though I lose, I have enough capacity to handle the rest. I'm not saying that I have no fear at all, but when I faced a similar stressful situation as I faced before, since I did it back then and I see that the results are not that scary and there's a chances that I can win, now I do it a lot easier than before. This is something I realized every year at January. I evaluate the previous year and I decide my goals for this year. And For the previous year, every time the moments that I felt stressful or afraid, or I felt like difficult, comes comes like, oh, they're not much of a big problems actually. I don't know why I was so stressful about it. It happens every year. Every year, the stressful events or stressful situations that I was maybe afraid or I was worried. Now, when you look at it from today, they look like, oh, it's actually not of a big deal. I don't know why I was this much stressful. But I couldn't come to this point if I didn't face them back then. And I'm thinking about what motivated me to do it anyway. Also, I observed countless entrepreneurs and leaders and innovators that I met. I observed them. And then again, there's a common theme too, which you do it even though you're afraid because you have love and passion towards that goal, whatever that is. Okay, you're passionate about it. You love it. For instance, being entrepreneur gave me one of the most difficult, most stressful experiences that I have until now. But at the same time, some of the greatest memories that I have is also through this journey of entrepreneurship. This is why I continue to do it because after I outgrow that fear, I turn that fear into trust, into confidence. Then some of the greatest milestones, greatest feelings and success and experiences are waiting for me there. Only thing I need to do to achieve that, to reach that, is to outgrow this fear, which means turn it into trust. Where is this fear? What does it tell me? What is the message this fear gives me right now? So, why I love being an entrepreneur? First, the freedom. Of course, so many people decide to become an entrepreneur because of the freedom and thrill of doing the things that are never done before. And there's this adrenaline of the unknown. To me, uncertainty isn't just a challenge, it's what makes me feel like the true rider of my life. What I want to say is that love and passion will become your best resources to become fearless, to turn your fears into trust. And I also want to mention that being fearless is not exactly the same thing with risk management. Of course, you have to manage and control the risks, but when we talk about being fearless, we're talking about an internal state. So we're not talking about a mask that you wear professionally or the mask that you wear at social occurrences. We talk about the internal state. You have to be brutally honest with yourself. You have to accept the fear first. So to become a fearless, first you need to accept that, oh, there is this fear in me. Okay. What does it tell me? Okay. How can I overcome this? Then you need to find something that you love and you're passionate about. And you have to tell yourself that, okay, even though I lose, I'm going to try this. I'm going to do this because I'm so in love with this goal, so in love with this profession, whatever that is. Once you continue to do it with practice, you'll see that you can handle the results. You are still going to continue to do it. Risk management is one of the like type of strategies that you implement, but it doesn't mean that you are fearless. So being fearless is not about control. Okay, it's not like, oh, I have to put everything under my control so that nothing goes out except for the way I plan them. Being fearless is meaning that you get your power, you get your fuel from love and passion, and no matter the outside circumstances are, you feel safe and confident. And then, of course, we need to work on our expression and our, of course, image or risk management or the strategies. Of course, These are also very important, but they're not the most important ones. The most important one is our internal state that we know. No one has to know, but we know once we become brutally honest with ourselves. And it's okay to be fear of something. The matter is that the fear itself even doesn't want to stay that much. I think this is how I believe. It just gives a message. It tells you that, hey, check here, just like the physical pain. And then it goes when you check there, when you focus on heal that part, it goes away. So we discovered this concept of being fearless at developing or marketing technologies in healthcare, and we will listen the stories of trailblazing founders, innovators, scientists, and investors that are reshaping healthcare. We will listen their fearless stories, and time to time there might be some solo episode where I share my perspective on things. So we will hear about the future of healthcare, what are the important topics about developing in the healthcare technologies, what are the opportunities and challenges, and we will listen their stories to become fearless. And all of this episode will be unfiltered, so there will be brutal honesty, and it will be unafraid because we will listen to stories of the people who are unafraid or who did it anyway. And then once you outgrow that fear, you'll become unstoppable or you feel unstoppable, and it will give you like a very high motivation to go on full force. In the age of artificial intelligence, AI gives you the tools and fearlessness gives you the wings. Are you ready to go beyond the fear barrier? Unfiltered, unafraid, and unstoppable. Let's dive in.